Hello, good evening, and welcome to Real Impact. I am just going to turn my phone off of YouTube so that I don't hear myself back on feedback. Right, technical issues aside, good evening. Oh, what's going on?
It's still going.
It's still going. That's YouTube Premium for you, that is. Look at that. Well, it can't be a show if we don't have an issue. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. That's it.
There we go. Shut up, phone. Anyway, we'll start again. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Action Popcast and Real Impact. I'm Nick APD. Hello to everyone who's joined us in the chat already. Please forgive my technical incompetence. This evening, I have a very, very special guest. He is, as Salacious Rum would say, the longerer of the longs. Yep. We have Adam Long from a long and long time ago. Hello, mate. How are you this evening?
I'm very well, mate. You?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry about all the
very excited.
finagling then.
Don't worry about it. We were just talking about all of that stuff. It happens.
Yeah, we've already had a couple of backstage issues. We've had this, we've had that. It's just not YouTube or StreamYard or an evening if something doesn't go wrong. So
it's all part of the fun.
I just want to go out here and say this though, dude. This film that you've picked this evening took me a bit by surprise. I'm not going to lie, because I'm not going to say what your original film was, just in case you come back and you're crazy enough to come back again.
Yeah.
But I have to say, until you brought this film to my attention, I was aware of it, but I hadn't seen this film. I've now seen it twice.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed this movie, but this is the first time I'm possibly on the back foot here. Yeah. Because I've had to sort of learn this whole world, this big world that is Scott Pilgrim, in a very short amount of time. So yeah, I'm saying all that to say, no pressure, mate.
Yeah. Well, it's a bigger world than you think, isn't it? Like, I didn't, until coming on here, I mean, I knew about everything that was available, but there's, comics, there's a game, and there's this, and now there's a new series on Netflix. There's actually a whole lot more to it than I originally realized. And then looking further into it, I'm sure we'll get into this more in a bit, but the comics were made, but only the first two, I think, were made, and then they made the film, and then there's another 3 or 4 comics after that.
Yeah,
and it's just nuts.
It is nuts. I'm not going to dive too massively in. Oh, it's a fantastic film. I'm not going to dive too massively into the history of the comics because it's a bit too vast. It almost deserves its own show.
I don't know much about the comics at all. I haven't read them yet.
I've looked at a few slides online. I have watched a couple of episodes of the Netflix show. I watched the first 2 last night actually, and I'm probably now going to watch the whole series. It's very good.
Yeah.
But we are going to be focusing on the film. But before we get into the film, should we say hello to those in attendance this evening?
We probably should, yeah.
We probably should. So let's scroll up to the top and see who we've got in. First of all, Super Spanner himself, Monkey Boys Toys. He says, "Ish." And I noticed that StreamYard's changed all of the designs I use for my comments, but we'll go with that. That's fine. Before we came on, it deleted all of the background stuff and slides, so let's not worry too much.
Yeah.
We have the second Super Spanner, Only Vader's Girl, or Kat. She says, hey, guys. Hey, Kat. Good to see you. Kat. Thank you for joining us. We also have the Emperor himself, Pod Racing Palpatine. Hello, mate. Thank you for coming along. Glad you're not too busy building another world-destroying device. So good to have you in attendance, sir. We also have Zombie Hunter. Hello, mate. That's great. Good to see you.
Great profile pic, that. I like that.
That's good. Well, yeah, you do like your astromechs, don't you? As I've been finding out.
Yeah.
You have a strong love of the astromechs. So who else have we got in here? Ooh. We have Travels and More with Jason.
Yeah,
he says, hi, all.
Right, Jason.
Hello, Jace. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for popping along this evening. And we also have in TJC. He says, evening all. Evening, TJC. Now, it says there's a few more people in than have currently spoken in the chat. So if there's anyone lurking, don't be shy. Come and say hello to us. We don't bite. But as people pop in this evening, I will say hello. But thank you to everyone who is watching, whether you are chatting or not. It's always appreciated. I'm now going to do a really awkward cough. This is why I could never do this professionally. I'm just, I'm just not trained enough for this. Right. So, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Before I go into a little film synopsis, I have to say to you, Adam, why this film? Why is this your pick for this episode of Real Impact, mate?
Well, the film itself is absolutely mad. Like, the direction of it. I mean, it's kind of a comic book film because it's, comes from the comics originally. It's kind of a martial arts film. It's a comedy. It's a musical, and it's got all of these amazing elements, and it's directed by the wonderful Edgar Wright, who we know from Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz,
World's End.
Yeah. And you can really sort of see that styling as it comes across as he directs this. But I just love the film. Absolutely love this film. I didn't see it at the cinema when it first came out in 2010, but like you, I knew about it. And I actually picked it up the first time in do you remember back in the day with the DVDs when they came in like 3-packs, but they were random films? So originally I bought the film Kick-Ass.
Great film.
And this came with it along with Green Hornet, the Seth Rogen film. And I thought that's a bit of an odd combination, but I guess they've all got that comic book element.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to watch this. I watched the Green Hornet too. Not great, but I watched this one and I was instantly like taken with it from the outset when they play the Universal thing in 8-bit, and it's just it's mega. This film's mega, and it instantly like shot up to be one of my favorite films of all time.
I would most definitely have loved to have played that Universal intro this evening, but just part of me thinks, knowing our luck, we get a copyright claim and they'd shut the streams. I've seen it happen on streams before, but because you sent it across to me, I was like, I'd love to, but I just know
probably not worth. It's not worth the risk, no.
No, but it is fantastic. And so for me, to put my own thing on me, I've been aware of this film for many years in the background. Even when you said it to me, I said, is that the one about the bass player who fights all the evil boyfriends or exes?
Exes.
To be very clear on that, the exes.
Yes.
And I was like, you said, yeah. And you were like, I'm surprised you haven't seen it being a bass player. And I was like, well, I hear you. Perhaps I should have seen it being a bass player, especially as Scott's style is very reminiscent of my own, very chuggy. Very much my style of bass playing. And I watched it. It's bonkers. It's mad. It's nuts. I was off work with a horrible throat infection, and I messaged you to say I'm watching it now. And I watched it again last night, and but I must say, the first time I watched it, I was like, "What am I watching? This is like a romance, as you say. It's a comic book film. It's a martial arts film. It's a real cluster of all these different styles." And I have to be honest, I didn't realise it was Edgar Wright who directed it, because I maybe wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been when I first put it on. Yeah. But now I know that I can definitely see
his style.
I can see
his
really style and influence. It's definitely in this film. So it's come as a surprise to me. But now, of course, I'm watching the Netflix series, and we were saying tonight before we came on, they do a box set of the comics. So I think this one might be something. I'm going to be honest. So after the first watch, I was a bit like, that was good. But last night, the second watch is really what sealed it for me. Yeah. I think I took a bit more in, and I started to notice a bit more of what was going on in the film, and
there's
little subtle
much
cues.
Yeah, there's so much going on with
4 or 5
so many
watches
little
to get
Easter eggs. Even now, I spot new things.
I'm going to totally level with you. Kat in the chat, I said to her last night, I said, I got to be honest, I didn't say I wasn't looking forward to it. I said, this is the episode I'm most apprehensive about, because I'd sort of watched it the first night. It's a good film, but I didn't. And then I watched it last night. I was like, no, I get it. And I started seeing the numbers cropping up through the film and the levels. I was like, I was just too ill to be watching it the first time.
Probably, yeah. I mean, did you say you've got a clip or something to play? A little thing to play, or do you want?
I haven't got any clips. I've got plenty of slides, and I will go into those in just a moment. I'm just a bit apprehensive about playing too many clips on YouTube.
Well,
I tend to get struck.
Should we talk a bit about the numbers side of things then? These little Easter eggs that keep popping up throughout the film.
Well, I'm going to go straight into that. All I want to do, just in case, not to cut you off, is I just want to give a very, very quick synopsis of the film, just in case we've got a few people who may not have seen it in the chat, and I've written it very simply. Scott, a slacker musician, pursues Ramona Flowers, battling her 7 evil exes in a surreal high energy showdowns. So yeah, let's go into these number observations. Sorry to cut you off there, mate. I just wanted to give a bit more background.
So there's the 7 evil exes, and you'll notice throughout the film, you have each of them has a number as such. And I want to sort of see what you spotted, Nick, throughout, because obviously we've got Scott, who is 0 in this list, and he can often be found drinking a Coke Zero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we both chose as our drink for this evening because it seemed apt.
Yes,
and you'll see it on his shirt as well in certain ones, and he's also got a couple of other shirts that I want to talk about because. There's so many different things that link it. So in one of the scenes, he's wearing a shirt which says Plum Tree on it. I don't know if you know Plum Tree is a band, and they did a song called Scott Pilgrim, which appears in this film. Obviously, it's all been linked in.
Yep.
So that's one thing that's linked. He's got the skull and crossbones in a gamer style. I think it's a skull and crossbones, or
I remember that one. I clocked that one.
In a Sprite, gaming style type thing. Which I'm trying to think if that pertains to something around that section of the film. Gonna have to pass on that. Towards the end, I can't remember. Towards the end, he's got his Heart T-shirt on with SP. Which obviously you'd think is Scott Pilgrim, but that's actually a Smashing Pumpkins T-shirt.
I didn't clock that, to be fair.
No,
I thought that was health points or something, so I took that a completely different way.
That's the thing, because that's where the sword comes out of. Scott earns the power of love, and Scott earns the power of self-respect.
Self-respect, yeah.
So yes, so his T-shirts are for one of the Easter eggs throughout the film. And then you get onto the evil exes. So your first man, Matthew Patel. So he's the third one in on that.
Yep. Sorry, I straight up took this picture off of Google, so I should have ordered it better.
No, it's good. I would have used the same picture, to be honest. So he's he's not a pirate, but. Pirates are in. I don't know if you remember that.
Pirates are in this year.
Pirates are in this year. So each of these, apart from the Katiyanagi twins, each of these guys have got such good lines as well throughout the film. They've all got some brilliant like one-liners. But back to the numbers thing, there is one chevron on Matthew Patel's top. That is probably the only number that I spotted for him. Number 2 is our man Chris Evans in the middle, Lucas Lee.
Yeah.
And do you remember where the twos were on there?
I spotted it. So I spotted so to say these numbers are essentially Scott ascending through the levels of the game, because earlier on in the film we see him with Knives Chow, a girl who he was dating, because Scott is going after a lady called Ramona Flowers in this film. His trailer door, I spotted a 2 on it. I'm sure I spotted a 2 on the
trailer door. Yep. There's a 2 on the car.
I didn't clock that
Mustang.
one.
Yeah, and he's got a tattoo as well with number 2 on his neck. So
yeah, he does, and I think you sort of see it more when he shows his own skating brand.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's very very good, and he's got some brilliant lines. And the stunt crew that he fights is actually Chris Evans' stunt crew in real life.
Is it?
That's who he uses in all of his films. Yeah, apparently. So
well, just before we go too deep into the numbers, something else that amazes me about this, as we're talking about stunt crews, these guys, they, apart from the real dangerous stunts, they all did their own fight choreography. Edgar Wright insisted on them doing their own martial arts training. So when you see sort of Michael Cera and you think, well, he's not really known for being Michael Cera, sorry, he's not really known for being a macho or tough guy.
No.
And watching it back and knowing that he did this choreography, incredible, absolutely, absolutely incredible. Especially the fight with Patel. I mean, just awesome.
Apparently, that's all right. Apparently, he got really into doing push-ups on the set, but you wouldn't really know because he's built like me. We're scrawny little dudes, but.
Well, yeah, let me bring up a picture to show, because I'm sure most people here know Michael Cera, but there he is there. The girl with the pink hair is Ramona Flowers, her character. But there he is. I mean, what have I got down for list of films? Obviously, I know him from Superbad. Juno, I've never seen that. Arrested Development, the TV series. But he's always played that sort of nerdy, geeky guy.
And he's perfect for the role. Perfect
absolutely fantastic. And of course, stood next to him there, Ramona Flowers, or in real life, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Little fact of the evening, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan's current
married
wife.
Her. Yeah.
Yep, married her, yep.
Did very well, yeah. Well, I mean, he's a good-looking bloke, so...
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi, mate.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi, exactly, yeah. And she is obviously now Hera Syndulla in Star Wars and Ahsoka, isn't she? So
and of course other films she's done 10 Cloverfield Lane, Birds of Prey.
She's great in 10 Cloverfield Lane, actually.
And I say like I've said, I haven't actually
seen
it. No, I've not seen it. You and Martin are forever telling me I need to watch films. There's only so many hours in the day.
I like that film.
And of course she's in Fargo, the TV series as well. That's one of her bigger hits. But back to these numbers. So no. This is never a documentary. This is just us having a chat and two blokes talking a film or a bloke and a woman, whoever comes on. So we've spotted 1 and 2. So number 3, refresh me, because
Brandon
I'm racking
Ruth.
my brains now.
Brandon Ruth, Superman, Todd Ingram. You can see him the man on the far right. Not
yes,
the lady.
yes. It's very couldn't have been clearer when number 3 was on him. It was on his T-shirt.
Yeah, but there's also apparently number 3s on the posters. I didn't actually spot them, but I looked this up afterwards. Yeah, there's number 3s on posters, and I think there's number 3s elsewhere as well. I can't quite remember.
I think that of all the fights, it's not the best fight in the film, but the way Scott defeats him, I think, is one of the best ways ever.
Yeah,
the vegan police.
Are we doing spoilers on this? I suppose we kind of.
I will say to people, this film has been out for, I think, what was it? Let me check the date. Was it 2010?
14 years, 2010.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, so it's been out 14 years. So
come on, guys. Why haven't you seen it yet?
Spoiler alert. Yeah, mate. Talk about what you want. The thing is, we can't really have a proper chat if we can't chat about it. Do you know what I mean?
True.
It's not like it's at it's not like it's at the cinema and we're like, it's the new Star Wars film and we're giving it away.
Yeah. No. So there's a few 3s, but you are right. The vegan police, like, it's so random, like the way he defeats him in this, like, and also the fact that he gets 3 strikes, and he's given him coffee with half and half to.
I thought chicken was vegan.
Toast to his demise, exactly.
Oh, and gelato. You ate full fat gelato. That's made with cream and eggs.
That's not vegan. It's milk and eggs, bitch.
That's the one. And it's the way the vegan police come in with like laser pointer fingers for guns.
Yeah. So
and then he just sort of, because like when he punches Scott up to the moon and you just hear him like traveling up.
And then smashes down.
Because
what is it Scott says after that? He says, if
I don't know. Is it raining outside if I peed my pants? Is it raining outside or something?
If I peed my pants, would you pretend it's the rain? She's like, it's
That's
not raining.
the one. That's it. Sorry. Yeah. I'm a bit bad at remembering lines, but no.
Me too.
That's
to be fair. And I've seen this film 100 times. Yeah.
But it's just another quick side to that. Of course, I was watching this with Mrs. APD last night, and she started watching it, and I guess it caught her off guard a bit. Like I'm not saying this is anything like From Dusk Till Dawn, but you know when you watch From Dusk Till Dawn, spoiler alerts, it's not a crime caper, it's a vampire film. Mm-hmm. It sort of starts as, is it going to be this sort of this romantic, grungy sort of film, and then all of a sudden Matthew Patel comes in flying across the room, and they're doing straight up like kung fu fights, and the film just flips on its head just like that.
Yeah. It's just so much fun throughout, I think, and the pace that it moves at is so quick. Like, it's a 2-hour film, but you're from beginning to end, it's just non-stop action. It's probably a bit much on the senses for a lot of people, but for me, I find it hilarious. But he's defeated Todd Ingram, spoiler alert, and then they go to the after party where he goes to, it's number 4, which is Roxy Richter, who he's already met.
I spotted the 4 on that one straight away. Did you spot it? You must have seen it however many times.
In the window?
Yeah, above the building, the big 4.
And the hammer goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only 4 that I can see. I can't find another 4.
I must admit, sort of, when I saw the numbers, because I clocked what was going on, I sort of got it second time round. And once I'd seen the number, it's almost like I switched off. That's the number.
You're looking for it. Yeah.
And once you find it, you're like, I mean, other than, let's go through the numbers, because I don't want to jump too ahead, because the...
Sure. So the Katiyanagi twins next.
Yep.
This one's quite hard to spot, I think.
Katiyanagi,
Kyle and Ken Katiyanagi. So these guys turn their amp up to 11, which is kind of an homage to Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, yeah.
But 5 and 6 is 11, and they're the twins. So that's where they fall in.
That's how they did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tricky, that one. Hard to spot.
Yeah.
And might not be right. That's just what I've noticed. I'm just assuming.
No, I don't think I spotted them all. Before we go into the next fights, I'm seeing a few more people popping in. I just want to say hello to a few people, if you do not mind, mate. Let's jump on back up. So where we last time, who else have we had in? We have had Connor Fuller. And he says, well, Mr. Knight, we meet again. He may have spoke before, but that's the first one I've clicked on for him. So no context to that. We've also been joined by Emma C. Oh, thanks for joining us, Emma. I know Emma was out for a posh meal this evening, so I presume she's back home in her gym jams and all tucked up, getting ready for bed, watching this.
Very nice. Yeah.
We've also been joined by Kim Gonick. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining us. Evening all, finally home after 7 hours on the train from London. Ugh. I think I'd rather fight one of the evil exes than do a 7-hour train ride from London. But no, thank you for joining us. Yeah. There is that. We've also been joined by Delvian Seek. It says, hi all, sorry I'm late. No, it's all good. It's all good. We've also been joined by Mr. B.
Mr. B.
I think there's a thing in my head with Mr. B. I always forget if I've said hello to Mr. B. So I don't know if Mr. B gets 2 hellos per show. And there's a reason for it. I'm not going to say my surname online, but my surname begins with B. And someone I used to work with always used to call me Mr. B. So whenever I read it, it's sort of see Mr. B and I'm like, So tricks me. But Mr. B, here's the real Mr. B. Anyway, I waffle, I digress. I'm talking bollocks. Let's get back into it. We were on the Katiyanagi twins.
We are, or we were. But that's the only 5 and 6 kind of thing that I can spot there. I don't know if you've saw anything.
I mean, I could cheat and ask ChatGPT, but I'm not going to do that because at least it gives people fun to go and find it, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will say this battle in the film, I thought was one of the most visually impressive battles.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You know, those two serpents and that like giant gorilla monster when Scott's on the bass and he starts ringing out that D on the bass, you know, and ding, 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 ding. And then that gorilla and the, you know, and I just thought that was visually impressive. I loved it when the band Sex Bob-omb is the band that Scott's in.
Yeah, we kind of jumped over a few things here, haven't we?
We have, but
we'll come back to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I've got. Do you know? I said to you, Matt. I said I've always got notes. I've always got a show structure. But I tell you one thing: don't have a plan on following a show structure. It's no fun
we'll get
if
to
you
it
do.
Eventually. Yeah,
they're just backup for if we can't think of anything to say.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
That's it.
But so we've gone over the Katianagi twins, and
you say, the battle on that one's amazing, but also the music is probably my favourite part of the film.
That cool
my favourite song,
the rock
within the
and
film.
And in a minute I am going to go into something about the music, but let's get on. I was going
to as well. So,
good man.
Evil X number 7, then.
Evil X number 7.
Mr. Gideon Graves, the main.
And that is the second guy in with the glasses.
Yeah. Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, I can't think of many things he's in, to be honest, but I'm very aware of him. Off the top of my head, I can't think of
I've
many.
got a list of the exes and who played them, but I didn't do my usual of putting other films they've been in for the exes.
No.
However, did you spot the 7, or should I say the hundreds of 7s everywhere?
Yeah. There's so obviously the points that he scores whenever he hits him are 7s. He says about the chewing gum. He swallows his gum, and that's going to be stuck in his digestive tract for 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
What else was there? Go on, have you got any more?
The light in his glasses are reflecting 7s in the lenses of his glasses.
Yeah. Very good, yeah.
And what was the other one? Oh, bugger, what was the other one? Yeah. No, can't think of it. But there was a few. But there was just lots of, and I'm sure the lasers flicking around the room are projecting 7s.
Yeah, it might well be.
And it's very final boss. The way Scott sort of has to go up the platform and and of course in the Katianagi fight before Scott gets awarded an extra life, which is quite important.
Very relevant to that. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So. And then there's the battle between them, the battle twice over, because Scott has a second chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing about this particular battle that I loved was the ninjas when they get killed. So for anyone that hasn't watched this film, when Scott defeats somebody, G-Force, when Scott defeats somebody, the people give coins out. They die and then the coin and then turn into coins, and that's another. I suppose that's another one of the numbers. Each one 1,000 coins, 2,000 coins, and so on.
And I think it was 7 million for defeating Gideon, wasn't it?
Yeah, more than that. I think 7 billion or something. But yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was
loads.
Yeah, because Sex Bob-omb decided that was their deal.
That's how they got paid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he defeats the ninjas in this one, the coins are all shaped of, the shape of a dead person on, as you would see it with like a police outline type thing. Very clever. I like that bit.
There are lots of tiny little subtle
nuances,
things. So yeah, that's a good word. Nuances. That's why I've got to bring people more intelligent than me on. They bring the standard up.
I don't know where it came from, to be honest. That's not normally my standard of intelligence, but yeah.
So let's before we go into any other stuff, because we're jumping back and forth, but I really don't mind.
Really
but
are.
Just
yeah.
I've got the notes. We just as well use it, but that's the fun of a conversation. As I say, it's not. This isn't a set. It's whatever, isn't it? So let's go to where we were at. We've already gone over some of the main cast: Michael Cera, Scott Pilgrim, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ramona Flowers. One of my favourite characters in this film. In fact, probably my favourite character in this film. Who do you think I'm going to say?
Wallace Wells.
Kieran Culkin as Wallace Wells. Macaulay Culkin's brother. I don't know if I've got him on a... Oh, I've done a massive disservice to him here. I haven't got him on a slide, but
no.
he is Scott's cool gay flatmate, isn't he? I think that's how they actually address him in the film.
That's it. Yeah. It is.
And he's such a but he's funny, and the way he's still Scott's sister's boyfriend at the Sex Bob-omb show through the Patel fight.
Anna Kendrick, that's another person. A lot of these people weren't that famous when they did this film, apparently.
No, they weren't, because of course, I mean, I wouldn't say Chris Evans was certainly getting up there because he obviously played Lucas Lee. Brandon Roth as Todd Ingram. I'm trying to look. I've got the notes here. So Brie Larson. I haven't got her written down for some reason, but
she wasn't in much before this, was she?
No, she was only like 19 or 20 in this. And of course, I say of course again. Haven't got a slide. I only put together. I know. Just letting the side down. But she plays Scott's ex-girlfriend who shit on him, and this is the source of the fuzzy hair. This is the source of all his insecurity. Because Scott's a bit of a... Scott is a very nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Who's in a very I mean, the band is excellent, but in the premise of the film, is in a very subpar band.
Yeah, it's supposed to be rubbish, basically. Like,
although the music is not rubbish, excellent.
But,
and he seems to be able to pull all the hot girls, you know, because I mean, to think at the start of the film, they're all ripping on him for being with a, as they put it, their words, a Chinese schoolgirl.
Yeah.
That's why Wallace Wells, I just love the bit where he's like, you can't tell anyone, and he just messages everyone immediately, and Scott's sister phones up.
That's essentially the opening line to the film. Scott Pilgrim was dating a high schooler.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's all those clever little bits of text on the screen.
Yeah.
I love things like, because I've not connected to this film. I've not long watched the series The Gentleman and the film The Gentleman, and I love it. They did that. A lot of little tags explaining bit, and I like that, and it really adds to it. And of course, it also gives you that comic book feel in this as well, especially the bit when they're in Wallace's apartment and they're pointing out all of his stuff versus Scott's stuff.
And then all of Scott's stuff, or Scott's one or two things, Yeah.
And it's the fact that Scott and Wallace share the bed, just because there is only room for one bed. I love the scene. I'll jump back and forth, where you've got the guy who he pulled off of Scott's sister, his actual boyfriend Wallace, and then Scott, and they all sort of sit up in sequence in the bed.
Yeah, I mean it's just a nuts, crazy ass film, but it's so good.
It really is.
Did you by any chance get the name of the narrator, the person who does the voiceover stuff? Like,
do you know what? I don't think I did, mate. I mean, I can certainly grab it. I can certainly do a Google on it.
Well, I could tell you, it's
even better.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
You know Bill Hader, Saturday Night Live regular. He's in Superbad. He is the cop in Superbad.
Oh, yes. Now, No, sorry. It was kind of hard compiling the notes for this, because where I was coming into it quite fresh and only having sort of seen it once when I was sort of doing the notes and researching it, it was like knowing who to include, because of course you see certain names, like you see Chris Evans, you're definitely going to put him in there. But of course, some of I probably have skimmed over some people in it, but as you say, there were people in this who probably weren't as famous then, and have sort of gone on to have quite...
So Aubrey Plaza was another one. Aubrey Plaza, at the time that they filmed this, she hadn't done Parks and Rec yet, and that's kind of what made her fairly famous, I would say. I don't think Anna Kendrick had been in all that much, but yeah.
No, well, even back to like Brie Larson, you think, I mean, now she's sort of in the Marvel sphere, and she's famous.
Very well known.
And she certainly wouldn't have been during this. So it's quite good, some of these films. But that brings me to something else, because I know we want to get into the music, but something I found interesting. I don't normally bring this up on the show. Release date August 13th, 2010 in the US. So I presume we got it similar-ish in the UK. Yeah. Universal Pictures, as we already said, with that spectacular graphic at the beginning, with that sort of 8-bit style Universal and that style of music. Now, budget 85 million, can completely see that. Box office take worldwide 49.3 million.
Yeah, this film was a total failure in the box office.
This film bombed, man.
Big time. Yeah.
Really bombed. And I'm a bit surprised by that.
I don't think it was marketed very well, to be honest. Because like I say, I don't remember seeing anything about it. And then
I just said to you, I've gone how many years of not watching it?
Yeah, yeah. But it's it's gained such a popular, cult following. It's really come on in time after the cinema.
Yeah, of course. And we've already said Edgar Wright directed it. And I've got my notable films here for him. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, would have said, Baby Driver, Last Night in Soho.
I did Baby Driver too, yeah. Yeah. Great film.
And the writer, Michael Bacall, notable films, 21 Jump Street, Project X. So
22 Jump Street.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So you've already sort of covered it. One of my other questions I had for you, but you've gone over it. We've sort of gone over it, but I'll ask you again anyway, in case there's any other bits you want to bring in. So Edgar Wright, he's known for his stylized films. Do you think his unique style shows through in the visuals of Scott Pilgrim? We've
just a bit
already sort of answered it. Yeah. But is there any... So to adapt that question, because we already said so, is there any one particular point that you would look at and go, that's got Edgar Wright written all over it?
Oh,
just to really put you on the spot and amend my question.
You can just pick it all out, can't you? Throughout the entire film, the snap transitions, the snappy cuts to each different thing. What I would say, this is probably a bit more eccentric than a lot of the previous things that he's directed, wouldn't you? In terms of you'll have a transition where in the middle of the snow there's just a door, and then they will go through the door, and you wouldn't really see that in a lot of you wouldn't see that in Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz.
No, but
there's
then
nothing quite like that.
Watching some of the Netflix series last night, which I thought at first was very much following the film, which I guess if the film follows the comic and the series follows that, because to say...
Takes a bit of a turn though, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Just because I've made
4 or 5.
I've seen 2. Just because I've made them. Here are the posters for the film. And I have to say, back to what we said on the box office thing, I don't particularly think the first poster with Scott on the Rickenbacker is going to be the most exciting thing to sell a film. The one next door may be. But yeah, saying back to Edgar Wright's style, you could pick it to bits, but I don't know. I don't think I can particularly answer that one brilliantly myself, but having seen, his most famous films, I'm not surprised it's one of his films. It's like you say, the snappy wit, because even when you think to Shaun of the Dead, the moment we're in the garden and then it cuts to the shower scene, he's got that sort of, he knows how to move a story really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, there's that one scene where where Scott's trying to get Ramona to the Battle of the Bands, and she's skating off into the distance, and he says it's at the rock, and then before he finishes, we're on the next scene, and it's showing the Rocket theatre.
But then I say back to Shaun of the Dead, when you think he does the pub scene about their plan and then finish at the Winchester, it's got that similar snappy, he can move the story really quick, and he's used a very short amount of time rather than wasting it on build up and all the boring. He's sort of boom, because there's 7 evil exes in this film. There's a 2-hour runtime, so you were going to have to do these snappy cuts, weren't you? You couldn't. I don't think the film would have worked if it was any longer. I think 2 hours was the sweet spot for this, to be honest.
Well, it's also kind of the introductions almost come in the opening credits as well. I don't know if you remember watching into that too much, but it shows off the
me,
character.
Mr. Long.
So as they come in, they bring in Knives Chow, and she's, is she going to? What's it? The talent says. What's it? Stephen Sills says. Oh God, this is going to drive me nuts.
It's all right. It's easy to forget bits and pieces because there's so much in this. I've only just spotted your picture there on the screen, so I'm not too observant.
Is she going to geek? Is she going to geek? No, she'll just sit in the corner. Scott says.
Oh, of course, yeah, yes. But, when they're sat on the sofa and they're at the band practice, my apologies. I'm with you now. Yeah.
But I want her to geek. she can geek. She has the capacity to geek. Anyway, she sits on the sofa. You kind of introduce the band there and then. Like everything gets done and dusted with the band, all of the main characters there, and then the sofa sort of pulls back and they're playing the opening song, which is Garbage Truck.
Yeah, I hear voices.
No, it's not. No, it's
not.
Is
it that
sorry.
One?
I think the first track's actually called "We Are Sex Bob-omb."
Yeah, but isn't that the one that I don't want to? I don't know.
No, that's in the Battle of the Cathy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm confused. Oh, of course it is. Yeah,
there's so many.
But that's the thing. This film's very chocked and condensed with songs, and it moves that quick. And I've seen it, like I say, I watched it once when I was quite ill and dosed up on God knows what pharmaceuticals to get through the day. And last night, and it was only, as I say, last night I picked up a lot more. It's definitely, you're gonna have to go back and watch some more. Yeah.
So in that opening credits sequence, it shows all of the characters' names, but it also shows like a bit about them. So for Lucas Lee, there's a skateboard, there's a number 2, there's exes on all of them, because there's exes plotted throughout the film, just like the numbers.
And I spotted something with the X's as well. Just to sorry to cut in there.
Go on.
Scott rips the X off of his jacket, and is that because of Ramona saying about you're just waiting to become another evil X?
Oh, it could well be. Could well be. Yeah.
Spotted that. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say hello to a couple more people that have arrived because I've got to say hello to Manga Fandanga. LOR, sorry, good to see you. Good to see you, man. And I'm sure
Gilster.
Sup? Good to see you. And if I've missed anyone, just call me a knob in the chat in big bold capital letters. Connor's going to call me a knob in the chat anyway. Now I've said that.
Yeah, you'll get a second.
I will shout you out. But anyway, I cut you off. I just don't.
No, that's fine. That's all right. It's good. There's X's everywhere. I mean, we could point them out, but it'll take forever. But that did remind me. I was talking about Scott's T-shirts as well, wasn't I?
And I can bring up Scott with his base T-shirt on there.
Yeah.
And that.
Well, after he fights Roxy, he's wearing a Fantastic Four T-shirt, but he's 4.5, because you just pointed out that about him ripping off the X. That kind of made me think about that. So it's 4.5. So he's like on the verge of becoming an X. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
little reference there. Yeah, it's
because
quite
Scott's a bit of a douche in it to Ramona to be. All right.
He's a douche throughout the whole film, isn't he?
Yeah.
From the off.
Actually, think about it. He lives in his friend's apartment, doesn't pay any rent. He doesn't even take. I mean, who would take an email seriously from someone saying that they're challenging you to a duel? But in this universe, he's just boring. He's a complete dick to Knives. Dick to Knives. Basically cheats on Knives. He becomes really neurotic with Ramona, and he does grow as a character, but he's a bit of a dick.
That's the funny thing about like the film as well, is that we're all kind of rooting for him despite him being an ass.
Yeah.
It's strange how they've made us sort of root for him, but yeah.
I also want to point this out. I'm sure this is what I think it is. If it's not, I'm going to look a knob. But your picture there, is that Ramona, the girl with the hair? Have you seen the girl with his hair? That's excellent.
Yeah, a great scene. Where
Took me a while to spot that. I'm like, oh yeah, I see it.
So he holds up the picture at the party. And so, do you know a girl that looks like this? It's like, that's Ramona Flowers instantly as well. That's the best bit, is how quickly he goes, yeah, that's Ramona Flowers. It's like, you got that from that.
No, I can't remember the name of the guy. But you know the guy when they go into the party, the guy with the glasses, not the end boss, and he's the one who knows everyone, and he's there and he's like, well, this type of music is this, and blah, 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 blah. Don't we all know someone like that? We all know someone like that. That really pretentious knobby, you think, shut up.
Yeah.
You absolute knob.
That's what they give him when they do the like titles of people, you know, showing off who's who. I think his name's Como or Como or Cormo or something like that.
Yeah, I think so, actually, yeah.
Can't pronounce it. But yeah, and that's what they say, he knows everyone or something. That's like his thing. His title.
I knew a guy like that in real life, right? Went to school with him. Not going to say his name, but I never forget being stood in a Weatherspoons one night. We're probably 20 years old, and he'll even look like him, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's there, and he's talking away about his experiences. He's going travelling. That he's got this beer, and he goes, it was words to the effect of, and that's why you have to appreciate beer, because of the taste and the flavour. And you just shut up. You're drinking a 2-pound pint in Weatherspoons, mate. What are you doing? What are you going on about?
Get out. Get out.
Get out. Taxi.
One of those. Yeah.
One of those. Yeah. So I say that story just to illustrate to anyone who may not have spotted that character. I think that would be a fair and accurate description of that character. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, right. I think you seemed keen to get onto the music, and I think we probably should talk the music.
We definitely should. Yeah.
There was one thing. I'm just jumping to my musical notes, because if I don't follow notes, as you've seen what happens, 1 minute we're talking this, the next we're talking some knob I went to school with. It's just what happens. But the music for this film. Yeah. Here we go. Music by Nigel Godrich, known for work with Radiohead.
Yeah.
Bands in the film, Sex Bob-omb, but songs by, and this one blew my mind.
Did it?
Beck. I'm a loser, baby.
So why don't you kill me?
Kill me. Yeah, I was like, Beck, wow.
Yeah, he wrote all of Sex Bob-omb's tracks, didn't he?
And Sex Bob-omb's tracks are banging.
Yeah, they are so good. It makes me think, why don't I listen to more Beck?
Yeah,
because
that's exactly.
I really only know that one song.
That's the only Beck song I know, because when I was researching, it said songs by Beck, and it didn't even click initially. So I went on Wikipedia and I was like, did it Beck? Loser? Oh my God, I know who Beck. I know Beck for one song.
Yeah. I know one song.
And I feel I've done him it's a bit of a disservice to him, because I'm sure he's got other amazing songs, but I was very, very talented. So
yeah. And I think he said he wanted the songs to sound, what would you say, under, come on, help me out here.
Those sort of punky grunge.
Like grungy, but underproduced.
Yeah, they sound raw as crap.
They sound going for. Yeah, raw is probably the best way to put it. They
do sound like the sort of things I'm not saying as good as this, but things me and my friends were recording years ago, of a basic 4-track. Do you know what I mean? They are
still banging songs though, aren't they?
Yeah. They're certainly not, they don't sound mastered. They don't sound, they sound like demos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah. But he did most of their songs.
Very raw.
Yeah. Very, very.
And then, sorry, Beck, you'll never see this, but sorry, mate. Turns out you're a banging musician.
Yeah, we're going to listen to more.
Well,
I'm going to listen to more. Yeah, yeah. Then there was Clash at Demon Head, who were a band called Metric, who I believe are from Toronto as well, or from Canada, because this was all shot in Canada, in Toronto. This film. And they used a lot of Canadian bands and Canadian scenery. They really tried to show off that scene, that the music scene of the 80s in Toronto. Apparently, it's kind of supposed to be where this is. Yeah, where this is.
I've just got to give props to Cy on this. I've still got the soundtrack CD to Spaced. What a good TV series. I know we're not talking that, but we've brought up Shaun of the Dead and that, and Simon Pegg and that.
Spaced. Yeah,
we haven't mentioned Space. Was that banging. So Si, you get like 10 HP points for that. Skip on that. So yeah,
Love
all
the use
set
of
in
HP points.
Yeah, good use. All set in Toronto, Canada, and it's although it's set there, I think the thing I can relate to with this is I remember being in that, or albeit in the south of England, but I remember being in the bands where people thought they were going to make it, and Battle of the Bands competitions that never came of anything. And I remember one musician locally, actually a couple now, have gone on and been quite well. Right. They've done all right. They've done all right. Yeah. I mean, I can never forget my mate Chris. I turned down being in a band playing bass for him because I thought, I don't really like this. It's a bit soppy. It's a bit emo and that. And then they carried on. They did rename the band, and I remember like going, bloody hell, they're in Kerrang magazine. You know, if only I'd have stuck it. But that's just life and music.
You never know, do you?
So
you never know.
You never know who you're turning down. But
well, speaking of Battle of the Bands, then the band that they face in the first battle. Crash and the Boys. I don't know if you know of Broken Social Scene, who did their music.
No, I can't say I do, mate. No. I must say I didn't research this as I honestly found this one quite hard to research because of how vast Scott Pilgrim is.
Yeah.
You could have done a series on this covering all the different aspects of Scott Pilgrim and all the different sources. So I was really just aiming for the big hitter bits because I'm still learning this. It's but I'm very glad.
I hope you watch it more than the twice that you've watched it so far.
Oh
it becomes a staple.
Definitely want to watch it again. As I say, you know, after the first watch wasn't sold, but I say to anyone, if you watch this film once and you think, watch this film twice, and just
you'll appreciate it a little bit more than likely.
And maybe that's why, going back to something we said earlier, maybe that's part of the box office thing as well, because word of mouth's a powerful thing, and maybe people coming out and not quite appreciating the absolute cluster that they just seen, and then it's all over the shop. But then it's not really once you understand how it works.
Yeah, no, it's mad. It's mad. But Crash and the Boys, couple of good songs. I'm so sad, so very, very sad. Which literally says so sad.
Yeah, that bit's so good.
And then you get Wallace again at the up in the balcony.
To the guy shouting on the balcony. This one's dedicated to you.
This one goes out to you. We hate you. Please die. I love this one. Good.
Wallace, the undersung hero of this whole film.
He really is. He's very, very very good in this. Yeah.
And to think that's little Fuller from Home Alone.
Yeah.
Who pees the bed.
I forget that. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I just always remember the scene of him with his face pressed against the wall where when Kevin knocks the chair over the tickets. Yeah.
Oh, that's another film.
Oh yes.
It's not Christmas yet. We'll get to that later.
Not yet. Oh God, no. I love our Shabby, but I'm not as keen as Shabby to have my tree out just yet.
I'm not there. No.
Not there yet.
And then so music-wise, there's bands that wrote for acts in the film, or for the fake bands in the film, if you like. But then you've also got the like interluding music in there, which all ties in as well. So you've got the ones that sort of point out or stick out in my memory are T-Rex, Teenage Dream, which comes in at a good time when Scott's on the bus and he's just broken up with Knives, but then because it's quite a somber start to that song, and then sort of cheers up, we're just living the teenage dream or something, and then he's thinking about Ramona, starts smiling. It's just tied in really nicely. And then the other one, in my opinion, that sort of stands out is right at the end when we find she's got back together with Gideon, and the Rolling Stones' Under My Thumb plays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I caught that. Yeah, and it's so perfect for her with that like, little mind control chip or whatever it is in her head. Yeah, that one hit really well. See, and again, I'm like a broken record. Ha ha. Pun. We're talking music. This is why you have to watch this film multiple times, because I'm at the point now where I've sort of sussed out numbers and the levels of it. And now I can go back again and really put together the music of the film. And it's very layered, very well put together. There's no bad elements to this film. There's none at all, really. No. And as for adaptions, from what I can understand, although not fully accurate, it's also a good film adaptation. So as films go for butchering comic books.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, absolutely. And then there's something that sort of just popped into my head when you were talking earlier about the fight scenes, where they all they did the choreography for their own fights. All the actors learned how to play instruments to make it look more realistic when they were on screen. Sex Bob-omb learned within, I think it was a few months, how to play their parts.
So watching Michael Cera, being a bass player...
Apart from him, Michael Cera knew how to play beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can see he knows how to... Look, you play guitar, I play bass. We can spot...
Kind of.
When... You know enough.
I know enough.
You know enough. I know enough. We know enough to know when someone's faking. And the third boyfriend, when they're having that bass battle with Scott, and Scott's giving it that very dirgy ding, 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 you know.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me, I throw in a few little cherries here and there when I play, but I like a good solid punch you in the chest bass line. You know I'm there. You know, keep it funky, keep it smooth.
Yeah.
But I could see that guy when he was. Honestly thought that guy was playing all those runs and all those scales up the neck. You can't. You can see technique in the hands. So either he, you know, it's good effort. But then Edgar Wright, as we say, he wanted them to learn to fight. He wanted them to learn to play the instruments, and that does give you that natural, organic feel. It makes it more believable because you are going to be attracting a crowd like us. The sort of people they were going to attract to this film were probably going to be people...
Musical nerds.
Musical nerds, yes.
Yeah.
What better way could it be put? And they're going to tear it apart.
Yeah.
You know, and I still love that young girl drummer in it where she flips the bird. They've got a girl drummer. She flips the bird at her.
Something else that I learned, I mean, granted, there's only 3 bands that we see, but all of the drummers are female in this. Even in Black...
Yes.
I don't know what
yes, they are.
Clash at Demon Head. Yeah, their drummer's female. All the drummers are female. Yeah.
Now you say, the only... now you
random,
say it.
Random fact, but yeah.
Well, it's not random when you think what was said at the beginning of the film about they've got a girl drummer, because that's part of Sex Bob-omb's thing. But yeah, you say Clash at Demon Head have, and the other band, please refresh me, they've got the young girl drummer.
The boys. Yeah,
Crash and the Boys,
yeah. Is that girl a boy too? Another Wallace classic.
Again, back to it seems all roads lead back to Wallace. I think he's massively underrated in that. And so, when we consider we've come from this, and then we get to this, and the music, music's incredible, fights
great
incredible.
And
shame.
The gaming influence. I was just going to say the gaming influence on that as well. There's a lot of Nintendo references. Did you spot all of those? Yep. Are you a Nintendo fan or a gamer?
I'm a Sega kid, mate. I was a Mega Drive kid, me.
Yeah. Okay.
But what were there?
Right at the beginning, Knives Chow says to young Neil, "What when she's asking about the instruments, what do you play?" And he says, Zelda, Tetris.
Yeah. Of course.
Kind
Scott
of a big question.
Didn't Scott say, I learned to play the intro to Final Fantasy 2 as well?
Yeah.
Plays
the intro of Final Fantasy.
And not Nintendo because it's Namco, but he goes into the Pac-Man speech about Puck-Man, Paku Paku.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Which again is brilliant. How when he's talking to Knives about it, he's like so clear and so confident. But when he's talking to Ramona, he absolutely screws the pooch on it. And
it's funny with Scott's character,
I'll never talk
isn't
to you
it?
again now.
it's so funny with Scott because he's got that arrogance around knives, where he's like, yeah, I am pretty awesome, and he's lauding it around her because she's looking up to him like he's a god, even though they're not even local celebrities.
Yeah.
But of course, with Ramona, the role reverses, and then he becomes neurotic and whiny, and you think Scott, it's almost like he thrives in a place of being praised, but then when he is being praised, he sort of, had knives have been a bit more aloof and almost like Gideon was to Ramona.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of that, right. So you sort of notice themes there. I'm as you're talking through it, as I'm talking through it, I'm thinking, I can see themes there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what were the other Nintendo influence then? We got
so Gideon's T-shirt is kind of a very similar logo to the Zelda logo. It's like the triangles, the 3 triangles. I can't remember
the tri
what it's
logo,
called.
Not tri. That's Star Wars, and that's the packaging tri logo.
That's what's in my head. That's why I can't remember it.
It's been around all the Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, I know.
But they do have the 3 triangles in Zelda. I know that I've watched enough angry video game nerd to see playthroughs of Zelda and stuff.
Yeah.
Where James Rolfe screaming at the screen.
Yeah.
So
there's that. What else is there? There's got to be others. There's got to be others. Oh, actually, I think I might be wrong about this, but I believe I read Clash at Demon Head is a Nintendo game.
Oh, okay.
And Crash and the Boys might be a Nintendo game. And also you've got Sex Bob-omb. The Bob-ombs in Mario.
Of course. Yeah.
That's the other one. There you go. It's all of the bands.
Again, you're adding more layers to this now. More layers.
It's beyond like intricate how crazy this film is. Like you say, it's vast. But you don't realise that it's vast, I guess. Unless you really delve into it.
I do think it's pretty good that you could go in with very little knowledge and just because Mrs. APD, she's not into her gaming and that, and she wouldn't have cared a damn about some of those things. But she still enjoyed it. But it's good, so it's good that you can go and watch and go, yeah, that's not. I think if you weren't getting all the nerdy references, you go, that's an all right film. I enjoyed that. But once if you're into it and you start breaking down, I mean, you think when he's dancing with knives at the beginning and they're on that dancing game, I can never get past this level. Foreshadowing.
Nega Ninja. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nega Ninja and then Nega Scott towards the end. I mean, you kind of take out what you want from it, don't you? You watch the film, and then if you enjoyed it, you enjoy it. If you want to delve into it a little bit more, like I maybe have a little bit too much, I don't know.
Yeah, but you've had a few more years to delve into it, as in you've been watching it, you've seen it multiple times. I mean, I've watched it twice, and I've already picked up on more layers, and you're sort of here going about this. I'm like, no, didn't clock that.
Didn't see that.
Need to watch that again.
Yeah. But I think I've probably watched this every year for the last 8 years, maybe. Something like that. It's
a bit of an assault on the senses, though, isn't it? Because visually, it's very wow, and then orally, and it's
got to be in the right
rich
mood
in every aspect.
Yeah.
Don't if you're sat at home ill with a throat infection, that's not the time to watch this film. No. I'm really glad I watched it again last night because I was literally like, oh no, I don't really know.
I'm not sure about this.
It's good, but and then I watched it again. Yeah,
you kind of appreciate it a bit more. I'd hope, at least. Yeah.
Let me just jump to my notes a moment. So, one of the questions here. Scott's battles are symbolic of his emotional growth. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, like we said, it plays out like a video game. He's going up through the levels. By the end, he earns the power of self-respect, and that's growth, isn't it? Yeah,
and because it's interesting because before he dies, it's the power of love. So. But then I think the power of self-respect was more powerful because he has to. He needed to improve as a person, stop being such a douche, and.
Are we about to take a little bit more out of this, in that it's kind of like a symbol for life? self-respect is more important than love.
Oh, I don't know if I want to go that deep.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, we can go there if you want.
Just wondering, is this film deeper than we realise? I don't know. No, maybe not.
Is it? Is it? And I'm going to bring this up. I mean, when you look at these comics, I know I flashed them on screen earlier. The artwork to it, they're very adult, you know, and there are lots of adult comics out there, aren't there? It's the thing. But some of, I mean, what was the description? I pulled up a description online for the comics, and what was it? Let's have a look. That's the problem. I need to get a new scrolling mouse, mate, because this thing's just not playing ball with me. No. Yeah, like, come on, we're only in the middle of a show here, mate. Don't drag your feet too much.
Have you got one of those ones with the little ball in the bottom of it?
No, it's laser, 90s. But it is an Amazon Basics mouse, mate. I mean, you know, I didn't shoot for the stars when I bought this. No. While I'm looking for these notes, again, my screen, you know, because I set everything white on black because I can't read the other way round. Yeah, so the comics there, Brian Lee O'Malley is the guy who's come up with this. Very heavily involved with the film. In fact, completely, you know.
Yeah. I think he makes an appearance as well, doesn't he?
I did read there was a cameo. Yeah. But I think... where is it? Oh, bloody hell, Nicholas. Can't find it. Yeah, I did have a very brief history of the comics, but we don't need to go into too much on it. It would have just been nice if I could have sod it. Anyway, so yeah, Brian Lee O'Malley. Yeah. As you say, initially 2 issues. I believe there's now 6, is there?
I think there's 6, yeah. Are you thinking about maybe getting those at some point?
Absolutely, because I saw a box set on Amazon with the sort of graphic novels in it, and I would like to read them. I mean, I don't read a lot of comics, but it's kind of like sometimes a film or a series is so good you want to read it. It's like when I watched Watchmen, and I absolutely loved that film, and then I read the graphic novel, and there's a couple of bits taken out, well, a very big bit taken out, but yeah, I think I could enjoy these, and I like the style. I like the sort of it's very cutesy style. It's not serious, but I think that's one of the things. But you've got that style there, but then you've got some. It's not serious, but there are very serious moments in it. You know.
Yeah.
It's tackling all things, human relationships. I mean, and we just as well go into it because you've watched more than me, and don't worry, you won't spoil it for me because I'm forgetful, as you can probably see. Scott Pilgrim takes off the Netflix series. It'd be wrong not to go into this a little bit more, given that.
Mention it. It follows a similar sort of pattern to begin with, doesn't it? And you're thinking, have they just remade the film?
I thought that in the first episode till the final
scenes. Yeah.
And on this, I probably won't give away any in case anyone has it, because this hasn't been out that long, has it? And I don't want to ruin it. But then I'm only 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, I literally thought I was watching it. I was thinking, oh well, he's changed the Pac-Man speech for a Sonic speech, and it is it's the same cast. The cast of the movie have returned to voice this.
Yeah.
Which is really good, because how often does that happen?
Yeah.
Netflix have got the big bucks.
Do you remember, obviously, the days of the COVID? People were doing a lot of like Zooming or Zoom calls and things. Do you remember
That's how most of us got into doing this, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Well, yeah. So there was a lot of sort of people reenacting streams. So like TV stars or whatever, they'd all get together and redo an episode that they were all in or something. The cast of this actually came back and did a live stream of this, like reread the scripts.
I did not know that. I'd love to watch that.
So, yeah, it's pretty good. It'll be out there somewhere on YouTube, of course. So it makes me think that they've all still stayed in touch to an extent, you know. So it kind of naturally would have thought that they'd get on and do that, but yeah. I
think it's excellent that they have stayed in touch. I think it's excellent they've come back for this. I'm 2 episodes in. You say you've done it all, or
I think I've done 4 episodes, and that was a little while ago. I don't know why I stopped. I should just cracked on.
I'm imagining that this probably follows the comic book quite accurately.
One of them's called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, isn't it? One of the comics. Or is it?
Well, to bring this comic back up again, the first episode of this TV series is called Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing that each episode is probably going to be related to an issue of the comic. And I would say if you watch Scott Pilgrim, or you're going to watch it and then you decide to watch this comic, don't be turned off by the first episode thinking, oh, this is just an animated version. It's going to go off. Even 2 episodes in, I'm like, hang on, what this is?
All a bit mad, which is in keeping with the films, I suppose. So. Yeah,
and it'd be interesting to see the development of Ramona in this, because we haven't actually chatted much about Ramona, but she's just. I mean, I understand why Scott's attracted to her, but she's just trouble to be around. But it's.
But I mean, come on.
It's so.
She's so cool, isn't she? And
she's so cool. That's what we'll say. She's so cool.
Well, she's so cool.
We'll go with that, Adam, shall we? We'll go with that. Yeah, she's so cool.
Let's face it, we are all attracted to her in some way or another, and we all wish we were Scott Pilgrim. I would have thought.
Yeah, and to go back, because we've been jumping around, the fight she had in the film where she's fighting, but she's using Scott as like a puppet. The fight with a hammer and that sort of studded belt. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a good film. Good film. Good fight. It's a good film.
The bit earlier in the film where Scott sort of does that uppercut. You punched me in the boob. I'm just not in the mood.
Yeah. That again, another one with a great, a couple of one-liners where she said, "I just cashed my last rain check or something." Cashed my last rain check, and he says, "What's that from?" "My brain."
She just looks confused. And the way she's defeated, we talk about the way people are defeated in the film. The way the back of the knee.
Yeah.
Back of the knee.
Yeah,
That's
the
brilliant.
weak spot is the back of the knee.
Scott has to defeat me with his own hands, or whatever it is she says. And
well, that's another thing. Another thing that I read was his only defeat on his own was against Matthew Patel, the first guy. The second guy, Lucas Lee, defeats himself.
Because he's too arrogant to not do something stupid.
It's like, you're not going to goad me into doing a trick like that. There are girls watching. That bit is brilliant. His eyes just go off and back.
And in the third
one, he kind of defeats him, but the vegan police take
his power, but he sets up the fall. But it's not a straight up ass kicking. Because to be fair, he gets his ass kicked.
Big time.
Second fight, he gets his ass kicked. Third fight, he gets his ass kicked. Fourth fight, he sort of doesn't want to fight because he doesn't want to hit a girl.
Yeah, so she does it for him. Essentially, she helps out. And then that's the next one,
she's
5 and 6 of the band.
Yeah. So, and that's that sort of techno weird monster they generate through the sound waves. Yeah.
And then Gideon, he defeats him with knives. So, yeah.
And that's where they sort of, again, foreshadowing back to the arcade, it shows, because,
how well they work together, but.
Well, Ramona's right. I mean, Scott goes off of Ramona at the end, but Knives was the girl for Scott in that film, really.
The original ending that they recorded, he was with Knives at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I can't remember who said they didn't like it. One of them said they weren't happy with that ending. So they brought everyone back to film the new ending with Ramona.
So Scott goes back to being a bit of a dick again, right?
Pretty much, minute,
You've got the perfect girl. She adores you. You've just shown that you're like the perfect team. You defeated the super bad guy. But I'm going to go off of Ramona, the one who literally just dragged me through a world of shit.
Which is kind of my only sort of qualm with the film. Is that I find that a little bit random. I find that at the end, when that happens, I'm thinking, okay, that's, he's obviously going to go back with Knives, but maybe not. Maybe not. That's a great line.
Delve in there with back off, Haspian.
I was bi-curious. Well, I'm a little bi-furious.
And that's just to say the reason in the film, because Scott keeps going, how many ex-boyfriends, and Ramona keeps saying exes. She's very insistent, and then she says she had a bi-curious phase, and then the girl's like bi-phase, and then
yeah. Did you pick up on that the first time you saw it, that one of them wasn't going to be?
I did, but even without knowing that, I thought she was going to have a girlfriend in there, to be honest, because she was very insistent on the exes and not boyfriends things. So, G here saying Beck was brilliant in concert at the 2X.
2 times.
I saw the 2 times. Sorry, thank you. G seen Beck.
That's cool.
I would totally go and see Beck now.
I would, yeah. Providing he played Sex Bob-omb songs.
That would be good if he played Sex Bob-omb. Oh, that'd be amazing. What's Skills saying here? Rainbow Bright could use a Scott Pilgrim punk style. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd watch it. So
nice.
Yeah. So let's go into it, right? A little bit here. So this film didn't get a sequel because, as we know, it bombed, it flopped, let's say Ideal World. It took all the money that they wanted it to take. Would you have liked a sequel to this film, or do you think? I'll say my view on it first. I don't think this film needs a sequel, and I kind of like it as it is.
Yeah, I don't think it needs one. There was there was talk of him and Ramona going off and battling people together, I think, but doesn't need it. It's solid film as it is.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have a one and done sometimes. You've got the comic book if you want to expand it. You've now got the Netflix series if you want to expand it.
Yeah.
And the Netflix series, although it deviates from the film's plot, I think one of the things I'm going to enjoy about it is the way it's spanned off into other bits. So I'm sad for it that it didn't have the success at the box office it wanted, but then equally, I don't think it needed a sequel, and it hasn't stopped the love of Scott Pilgrim. It hasn't stopped things being made. It didn't stop the Netflix series. So
yeah, it's still got.
It certainly didn't harm. It certainly didn't harm the career of any of the people in this film.
God, no.
In fact, if anything, they all did better after. So.
Yeah,
I think we can probably call it a bit in its own right as a success. And look, what we don't know is we don't know what it's taken. We don't know what DVD sales have earned it, downloads.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look online, that famous saying, cult following. It's got a cult following.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they've just done a new series like on Netflix is obviously means something, doesn't it? So
they don't do nothing unless they think it's got something to it. So. Yeah, I think it's. I think I like it. I like it where it's at. I don't mind how many. Within reason, I don't mind if they want to do a couple of series of it on Netflix and whatnot, and I'll watch it.
Adapt the comic books again, I guess. But yeah,
I think it's good for. It's good for the fans of it. If it's got a couple, and like I said before, bringing back the original cast for the Netflix series, You've done all right, you're sort of there, aren't you?
That's it.
So
great film.
We've spoke through. Is there anything? Let's give you, before I say hello to a few more people who have come into the chat in the last minute, and we have a bit of a chat back and forth. Anything else you want to add? Anything for this evening? Anything that we didn't cover? Anything you want to bring up? It's not a worry if it's not. I won't mark you down.
No, I'm just trying to think like. We have covered so much of it, and we covered it in such a ass backwards way that I can't remember really what the way we've done it.
That's my style. That's my style. Don't watch this thinking it's going to be lineal, because it's not.
I'm definitely to blame for that. As well. I kicked things off with the numbers, and
what's interesting?
It's a mess from there on. But a little bit of how it works from the backstage. So I have the notes here. Yeah,
I've got my notes. Even in my introduction, I put say hello to the chat.
Yeah,
I've got to tell myself what to do.
Yep.
Film synopsis. Then I would go. You go cast. You go list of bad guys, box office notes. But you can't. You've got these notes. You can't follow it like that because you're bringing a guest on, and unless you're going to send them it and go, we need. And I don't want that. I don't want that for any of my guests. I don't
keep
care.
Keep it natural. Yeah, keep it natural.
It's two people having a chat about something that. Well, it was your passion. Oh, go on. Should we tell people what you originally picked?
You can do, yeah. So
tell them.
This is in my top 3 of films. One of the other films in my top 3 is The Italian Job from 1969.
Love The Italian Job.
1969, 1970.
I thought
one of those 2 years.
One of those two.
And I do.
Remember the excited voice note you got from me when you said Italian Job?
Yeah. I absolutely love that film. But I just feel like this has more. I mean, it's got so much more to talk about. And it's good maybe if I delve more into The Italian Job, I'll find out more. But
yeah, but it's good that you've come in. You see, the point of the series is there'll be various people coming on. It's always about bringing guests. It's about talking to people about films they like. Now, look, I know some of the films that are lined up, and they're all banging action films that we all know, and that's great. I want to cover those. I love them. We all love them. But actually, it's quite nice when someone comes along and they set a bit of a challenge to me. There's a film, and I'm like, okay, because I found something I enjoy now. It shouldn't, it's quite nice to come away from it and go, yeah, I found something I enjoy now, and I should have given that a chance a bit sooner. So,
but you don't know. There's so much out there. You can't watch it all, can you? So.
You'll be back on the channel because, as I've said, anyone who appears on this channel, it's a lifelong contract.
I'll be back. That's fine. I don't mind.
Arnie. All right,
I've enjoyed it. I'll be back.
Keep it calm.
We were talking about cast a little bit. How long have we got? I don't know if you need me to talk more.
You can talk more if you want, mate. Fire away.
We spoke about Roxy Richter, Evil X number 4.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Arrested Development with Michael Cera. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that.
Have you seen Arrested Development?
Do you know, you can't keep doing this. Everything you say is something I haven't seen. You make me look like
She actually plays Scott Michael Cera's girlfriend in that for a brief period. Yeah.
Okay.
I think her name's Egg. But yeah.
Do you know what? That you're just gonna have to keep coming on and giving me things to watch I haven't watched yet, because
just throw out loads of facts.
But the facts. No, this one has actually been really fun though, because as I said at the very start, I've been a bit on the back foot because when we were talking Batman with Martin, I've seen Batman loads of times. I could have come into that, other than the few notes I had for facts and figures. I've seen it multiple times because it's melted into my mind for all the years. So this one felt a little bit like, oh. This was the one I was nervous about because I couldn't just reach into my head and just bullshit it and blag my way through.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was going to ask you. I mean, you've only watched the film twice. Was there any bits of dialogue, any lines that you particularly enjoyed in that? Sorry, I'm turning the tables on you now.
No, you can do that. That's fine. It's your show. It's your show when you're on here. So I am notoriously bad at remembering lines from film. I remember the rough idea, but I never remember them word for word.
Yeah. Because this does seem to be loaded with like one-liners.
It's not so much a line, but it's a moment in the film of dialogue, and I like it because it's like listening to my mum speak. The girlfriend or ex-girlfriend of the guitarist in Sex Bob-omb when she's swearing at Scott. I forbid you to see Ramona. But please. So that
we didn't even speak about that.
How are you doing that? How are you doing? It's like
never mind.
that moment that just tickled me because like I speak to my mum on the phone and like I say to her all the time, the Litlin's about what? She's like, She can't turn it off, mate. So people who think I swear a lot have met me in person. Believe you me, I came away light. What's the other good? I really liked. I liked the bit where Gideon comes out of the car at them, he's like, well, I should be thanking you for thanking me for, he's just being a complete douche to Scott. And it's not a line in the film. Another moment in the film that cracked me up, and it really tickled me. It really got a chuckle. Was young Neil. You shall now be known as Neil. But the bit where Scott quits, I can't be in a band with this douchebag running it. It's like you're gonna have to find another bass player. And so, of course, earlier in the film, he's kept relying on young Neil to play his part so he can piss off and mess about with these girls. And young Neil's just come in and just signs it straight away. Just brilliant. It's those little moments, and it's like they're long payoffs because they sort of set it up earlier in the film, and then when it pays off, you're like, yeah, that's actually really funny. And you know, I love jokes that take a while to pay off. That's probably why comedians like Stuart Lee are my favourite comedian. You know, because I love the long build up to it. The build, not just that one off. So you've turned the tables on me. Yeah, but I know I definitely enjoyed this one. Thank you for challenging me. That's for sure, because it was.
Well, I'm just glad you enjoyed it. You know, this could have gone horribly wrong, really.
I admitted at the start that I was saying to Kat yesterday, I'm not sure. And I'm glad I watched it again.
Yeah.
But again, it's excellent. I think I should probably have a quick look in the chat, see who else has popped up. We got to say hello to this guy, Rolando.
Oh, Rolando.
What's up, Rolando? Thanks for popping along, mate. We've also had Alicia in. What's up, Alicia? Good to see you.
Hello.
We've also had Jason say, what was it Jason said? I think Jason said he's really enjoyed this one. I've lost the comment now, but Jason's really enjoyed, said he's really enjoyed this episode. And it's, it has been enjoyable. Very enjoyable. So
I'm glad.
Cheers for picking it, man. I've very much enjoyed this one.
Well, no, thank you for having me on to talk about it. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, what did you get? We started off the stream with me of my phone blaring and messing up. We had that.
Technically, well,
technically we're lacking.
We're a little bit off, but that's fine. That's good.
But we've had a chat, an ask backwards chat. Your words.
My words. That's my fault.
What it's about, mate. Yeah. That's what it's about, mate.
Just jumped in. Went for it.
Anyone who comes on here, just come on. We're just going to have a chat. That's if you know. Anyone who's coming on, don't ever worry. Just come on. Just have him watch the film. I've got notes to support the facts. We just got to sit and have a chilled out chat. That's what it's all about.
Definitely. Yeah.
And
anyone watching this who hasn't seen Scott Pilgrim, I mean, come on. What are you doing? Such a good film.
He's right to be fair, because I wish I'd have watched it sooner. In fact, if I'd have watched this 14 years ago when it came out, I know for a fact I would have really enjoyed this. Especially given all the bands and stuff at that time of my life.
Yeah.
So I feel I missed out on the initial, but it's all right.
Well, I think I did too. But you know, you get it afterwards. If only we had our instruments, we could play ourselves out with some sex Bob-omb.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't learn any.
But Scott just chugs D a lot. I could have done that.
Yeah.
So with all that said, then I have to say, Adam, would you like to promote anything you've got coming up or doing? This is your moment to plug yourself shamelessly and
no, come on now.
Do all that.
No, we don't need to do that. It's all about this episode.
Well, I'm going to do it then. Obviously,
if you did want to look at our Star Wars channel,
please do, because I'm going to promote you if you don't.
Yeah, we do have
the description for their channel is in the link for their channel is in the description of this. So please do go check them out and subscribe if you haven't. I think most people here live will be fully subscribed to your channel, but we do get people who come after the fact. So I would say please do check out Adam and Martin on A Long and Long Time Ago. If you like your Star Wars, you can't go wrong. If you like an astromech, well, Adam's your guy.
Yeah, I do.
Been a pleasure to have you on tonight, mate. And thank you to everyone in the chat for showing up this evening. Good to see you all chatting away during this, which is excellent. That's what I enjoy. lovely chilled out one. I shall be back in a couple of weeks' time, and the next episode, I'll tell you what the next episode is. I haven't quite locked the date in yet. The next episode, me and Kat are doing Highlander.
Oh, nice.
There can be only one.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, it's an excellent film. So I would encourage anyone who hasn't watched it for a while, go and catch up on Highlander, because me and Kat are going to be having a deep dive on that. And that is a film I have seen many, 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 many times. And Palpsen, when you doing RoboCop is coming. The two guests for it are locked in. They are locked in. In fact, it's coming very, very, very soon. But me and Kat Vader's Girl try and do one episode a month on a Saturday night. So it works better with our schedules for that. So that's coming. Highlander will be coming. There is a RoboCop coming soon. There's loads. The problem is when I started the series, I got so excited, invited so many people, and I got a list like this, and I'm knocking through them. So
nice.
But you know,
nice.
anyone can ask to come on. Anyone can, you know. I can't guarantee the film you pick hasn't already been grabbed, but there's lots of films like that. Anyone can hit me up on Instagram in the DMs, slide straight in the old DMs. Anyone can ask to come on. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
So with all that said, thank you so much, chat. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I'm Nick APD. This is Adam Long, whichever side StreamYard decides to put me hands, because can't ever work this out with this reverse camera nonsense.
Same. Yeah.
You have all been absolutely great, and I'm gonna play the intro, because I love this intro that's just been made for the outro. So there's going to be a countdown, but we are going now. So catch you all soon, guys. Bye.